Hey everybody, I think we all just got some text messages. Welcome to Outlander. This is our weekly Hangout show. Now it's back weekly since, guess what? Outlander is back. It's back on our TVs, it's back on Stars, and we're here from now on every week until it's over to talk to you about Jamie and Claire and Blackjack and Dougal and Dougal's pants. So this week was the first week back from the very long hiatus, which everybody else is calling Droughtlander, which I don't particularly think is very catchy, so I don't call it that.
We just called it that, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. We did call it that, okay.
I called it that, my fault.
It's fine.
I didn't get the memo that we were anti-Droughtlander, sorry.
I'm not anti-Droughtlander, I just prefer the hiatus. But we used to be talking Outlander. This is That's Normal and Hypeable. We used to be talking Outlander. Now we are Hang Outlander because that's catchier. See how catchy that is?
Mm-hmm.
And we're here with everybody that's going to introduce themselves. I'm Beth. I'm having a white wine, and I'm also going to be having this little buddy later at some point live.
A live downing of the Glenlivet bottle.
We'll see how that goes. Your turn, Becca.
Hello, my name is Becca Buttons. I am drinking the most delicious, I found a new red wine, guys, called I forget. Anyway, it's really good. There's a Pinot, and this is the Cab, and I'm in love with this wine. So I'll tell you more later. Anyway, hello, I'm here. Good to see you.
Nikki?
I'm Nikki. I'm drinking tonight our International Delight Chai Tea Latte. We're sponsored by them, at least That's Normal Half. Thanks, guys. Enjoy that on our blog.
All right, Laura?
Hi, guys. I'm Laura from Hypeable, and I've got a glass of white wine from Williamsburg Winery. I'm a wine dork nerd, and this one seemed good tonight, so I'm going for it.
Very nice.
Oh boy. Oh.
Did we tweet out the wrong link?
Maybe. Hello.
Hi, person.
I'm ejecting that person.
Abort.
Oh, no.
What the?
Sorry, Renee.
We're not sure what happened, but we seem to have invited a random person.
Oops.
It's a very professional job here. You can tell, like, our technical prowess is just key here.
Goodness gracious. Okay, Julie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Julie. I write for That's Normal. I'm just drinking a white wine, a Riesling. It's super sweet, so I'll be noticing this because that's all I had. So,
very nice.
Welcome.
Jamie.
Hi, everybody. I am kind of lame tonight, and I'm drinking tea because after I hop off here, I have to go back into working on a presentation for a client meeting tomorrow. So lame. But I'm also not drinking because later this week, Beth and I will be heading to Europe, and I'm saving my calories.
Yay, so we can have lots of wine in Europe.
Yes. Whiskey and scotch and wine and high tea and croissants and pain au chocolat and crepes and all that good stuff.
Keep rubbing it in. Say a few more.
I would think like Jamie is like our French expert for next year, because I would not have said any of the French pronunciations that well at all.
I was a French major in college, and I did study in France. So that I will take that title next year.
There we go. Cool.
We will definitely be looking forward to your recaps because you guys are spending a pretty good couple days in Scotland, and I know you're going to be seeing some of the sites. So I'm sure they will be doing some Instagramming, so make sure you follow them personally. Their names are in their little things. We're also on That's Normal. Maybe every once in a while we can convince them to post some things there.
Maybe I didn't want the whole internet knowing I was going to Scotland this week.
Sorry, Jamie. Jamie's fault.
I'm just kidding.
You 50 best friends will be roaming the islands together.
I think we held off for a good amount of time on announcing it. So
we did. And what happens when the outlandish bakers stalk us and find us and leave cupcakes on our car?
You guys, seriously, if there's just random cupcakes about, I am just going to be like, I quit life. Like, how did they find us? I don't know. I don't know. That's, yeah.
That won't happen 'cause they're mad at me for saying things like that. So
Right, exactly. They think you're a bitch.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't like
okay.
cupcakes.
We're totally checked in the hotel under a fake name. You'll never guess it.
That's right. It's Kristen Stewart.
Jamie Fraser.
Yeah, I don't eat cupcakes anyway. So we've been online for 10 minutes and we haven't talked anything about Outlander. So real quick, we're going to talk about, we just got back from the New York City premiere on Wednesday night. And so you guys want some gossip?
Yes.
What we did, how it was?
Yeah.
Yes. Do it. I want to hear everything.
So Becca, what was your favorite little piece of?
My favorite piece of gossip that we have not talked about on the internet is, oh boy. Well, this isn't about Wednesday night. This is about Thursday because we haven't talked about it yet. And I was hoping to give you guys a little teaser, but we got to do some special one-on-one interviews with some special cast members, and it's possible that I have some sitting right here that tell you the name of who they are. Can you read that? The problem is this is a really big disc, and I don't know how to read it, so I couldn't get it off onto my computer. I'm going to have to do that tomorrow. But we will have some special interviews for you soon, and it is true, we did get to sit down with Sam and Katrina, so we will have some interviews coming for you soon.
And if you want to know how Sam really feels about social media, that might be in that interview.
Yeah, might be. May also have a conversation about his hair. Maybe. We'll see. We're really excited. Yeah, we're really excited to see it and see how.
And nobody cried.
Nobody
cried.
Nobody cried. Nobody ran away terrified.
There was no crying in Outlander.
Nope.
No.
Nobody means Sam cried.
Yeah.
Right.
We terrify him.
They run for the door, but there was no crying.
Someone did ask me what it feels like to know that Sam is intimidated by what we might say to him or about him, and I was like, it feels like power.
I like that one. Wait, before we get back to gossip, we forgot to talk about if you interact with us on the interwebs this evening using the hashtag HangOutlander, we are going to pick something from our special bag of Outlander swag to give away to a very special hashtagger. So if you are watching live, this is Monday, the 6th of April at 10 p.m. Eastern, you can interact with us online, and we will just randomly pick one of you, probably by how pretty you look in your Twitter.
So put a lot of Tobias Abbeys.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's our only judge. It's not. Just use the hashtag.
Just use the hashtag. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that was my gossip. My gossip was about Thursday. I don't have any. I'm scared to share other gossip.
Someone else asked us about our vague tweeting on Wednesday night. I believe my only tweet from Wednesday said something like, it's getting awkward that Katrina keeps following me to the bathroom. That Tobias was stalking us. And I think those tweets speak for themselves. That's it. We were in the same bar. So that happened. Mm-hmm. And, I don't really have a whole lot of the gossip other than Dougal's Beard, who was with us as part of That's Normal crew, is literally the coolest.
I love Dougal's Beard. Shout out to Dougal's Beard.
So if you're not following Dougal's Beard, you're really missing out on the coolest Outlander fan out there. So just do that.
Yep, follow her.
And, that's it. Let's get talking about the episode.
Let's do it.
The Reckoning. Online numbers say that The Reckoning had a ridiculously good run, numbers-wise. It apparently got just as many original viewers as the pilot episode. So, well, not the pilot episode, the first
episode.
Hmm?
I said, because it was the best episode so far, I have to say.
I'm going to agree. I really think it was, too. I really do.
It was a definite, for your consideration episode, when they pick episodes that, they might hand people to look at for the Emmy Awards and things. This was absolutely a Emmy Award, what you would hand over to the reviewers kind of episode.
Oh, for sure.
I think.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Becca.
Nope. Go ahead.
That's what I said to, I had a group of friends watching it, and I said, okay, this is the tape that they're going to send for me. This was, and I'm going to say it, I think this is Sam Hewen's best performance so far in the series, just certain moments. And I said, they need to make just a whole tape of him from this particular episode, because it was fantastic. This was, for me, the best episode so far. And I mean, that's saying something. And I thought the wedding episode was fantastic, but this one was by far the best one.
And I think we saw, obviously, it was his point of view, and we saw him, and I assume it's out there, it's not the first time, but when I did talk to him last week, he did say it's not the only time we're going to see him a point of view. So it's exciting that we're going to get more of that, because I think that gave him the ability to shine through a little bit more, because even though you're looking at things visually and it's a video, it's still being told from Katrina's perspective. And so I think he just was able to, we actually talk about that on my interview. This would be the perfect time for me to bring out that interview. But how different it was, if it felt different for him acting, having a script from his point of view. And he said that it did slightly. So
I totally want to see your interview, because that was, like, I would say some of my favorite, not only my favorite, but just getting to see that expanded point of view was amazing. You love seeing what is going on rather than him coming back and telling Claire about it. It's nice to see it firsthand, because in the book, whatever he tells her is edited anyway, so getting to see it firsthand is great.
Yeah, and we got a little bit of a taste of that in the wedding when he is talking about flashbacks. So we're seeing scenes that Claire isn't in. But it was the first time we got those, and those were fairly, they weren't that dramatic. They weren't really pushing the story super forward or whatever. But then all of a sudden, these scenes are hugely important in developing who Jamie is as a character, which everybody said at the end of the first half of the season was really, really, really lacking. It's something that we talked about on our recap show, just about the fact that we were like, where is the Jamie that we know in the books at this point? Where is the leader? Where is the man? Right now he's a horny puppy, all of that stuff that we said months ago, and this was the episode where he's not a horny puppy anymore. I mean, he kind of is. He's got the moment where he's horny puppying it up, but he's the leader, like especially the Colum and Dougal scenes where he is a politician and a smart one and an adept one and one that they respect. That's what we needed to see, and I adored it.
I absolutely loved Sam in this episode. I thought he did fantastic as Jamie and just portraying different levels of emotion. And I just loved how the cadence and the rhythm of his voice as different emotions were coming on changed. And even like the timbre of it changed. It was just really, really awesome. I picked up on that a little bit the first time I watched, and then after Beth's post, I went back and rewatched, and I was like really paying attention to that. And it was just really, really amazing. And then I had some chin envy of Kat and the emotive chin, and I was a little jealous.
Yeah.
But I'm like, she looks angry and pissed off and still looks beautiful. I'm like, oh. But I mean, not to belittle, she did a fantastic job in this episode too. So all around fantastic.
It's also like all eyes too. Like her and Sam both have the most like expressive, like they don't have like ginormous like Amanda Seyfried eyes or anything, but they have the most expressive eyes, and just Sam being able to travel the path of anger to hurt to absolute like desolation. That was like, whoa, I was like blown away right there.
And the fact that he changes so quickly and I told you guys earlier that was one of my favorite scenes, was the whole like I went in there with nothing but my bare hands. The fact that he, the slew of emotions that he went through, and that break where his voice breaks. Oh my gosh, this very day, like, and I watched it this morning, it broke my heart still. It was just, that's Jamie. That right there for me, that was Jamie 100%. I'm about to start crying. I'm going to drink some more.
And it's one take. I mean, it is one, I mean, there are some parts of that where it's back and forth, but there's a section there that is one big old long take. So that's all natural reaction. That's not a director's cut getting that. That's natural reaction.
You guys, I think we just spent 5 minutes being positive about Sam Heughan. I think it's time to close.
I just tweeted him. I hope he's watching.
He is. He probably is.
Look at us not tearing you apart, Sam Heughan.
Oh my gosh, who's afraid of us? Why would you be afraid of this loving group of women?
That's right. Oh,
I just have to say that because I was also at the premiere, and Dougal's Beard and I got to sit front row, so when they did the Q&A, they were smack dab right in front. Like, Sam was literally like 8 feet in front of me, right direct in front of me, and he's beautiful. Yeah. I just for the record,
He's to get
that out there in person. Yeah, I was a little I was quivering. Maybe I had a quivering chin.
Yeah,
I'm loving it.
he really changes a lot. Like, he looks very different as Jamie than he does in person. But that's not to malign him either way. I think that he looks good both ways. He just looks very different. He's obviously an attractive dude. This is not new and
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I think.
Kat, her facial expressions, just real quick to go towards that awful Q&A. I don't know if there's like a video of it up on the internet because I haven't looked it up because it was that bad. It was terrible, terrible, terrible. And just you could just tell how over it some of the people on the stage were. Just bad questions, mispronouncing their names, not really not even asking like the right question to the right. Like, it was just awkward all around. And she just had the best expressions. Like, I was just watching her and cracking up, and so that was really fantastic. Just to kind of see that interaction. Yeah.
She and Ron, I think, were both like done.
We have a really good.
Outlander is not the fandom for stupid. Just saying. It really isn't. You know, it's not. It isn't. It's not your lowest common denominator fandom. It really isn't.
I kind of wish it was sometimes. I wish there were more stupid, like, silly, make dumb fan art fans that, were just happy to be in the fandom and not like the condescending Cult of Diana fans who really just get on my nerves. But that's okay, to each their own. You cannot.
But what's funny is, like, I think Diana gets sick of them too. Like, just from her posting your review today, Beth, and some of the questions, and she was just like, she even like put in her brackets eye roll to somebody.
I just love her little diamond carrot eye rolls. Yeah. That's old school. I love that she's old school.
Oh man, I'd like to eye roll people. I do eye roll most of you.
Yeah.
To our faces.
Yeah.
I think she has a sense of humor. I mean, with the things that she posts and the jokes that she makes and the things I think that are really directed at Sam Heughan, I think she has a sense of humor.
Oh, but, for sure. But I still think she thinks that some of her fans are super, like, well, maybe she doesn't think this. I think that some of the fans think themselves that they're, like, really smart and got it together, and they're not have it together. They're kind of weird. But whatever. We're weird, too.
There's some of our friends on the interwebs, actually friends. This is Lindsay Spites. Her name is Breathe, Read, Love. She and I think Meg Sprut. Is that how you say your name, Meg? Sorry. Every time they comment tonight are including a GIF image. They're just like random. They're not like Outlander images. There have been a few, but they're hilarious. So please follow Breathe with an E, Read Love. I guess that's how you normally spell breathe. But when you've had as much to drink to me as I have tonight, you don't know how to spell breathe.
Drink to me? Don't have as much drink to me?
Yeah, don't have as much. I had some margaritas earlier. Shut up.
I'll say this, though. Lindsay, Breathe, Read, Love, is the very awesome one that wrote that great post about us.
Yeah. They were like a love letter to That's Normal, and it was amazing.
Minus me. Thanks, Lindsay.
And Meg. Oh, you read it too. And Meg Sprint.
Yeah. No, it's just funny because at the end there was like a part, and there were gifts for everybody but me. I'll remember that. Don't you worry.
I think it's because you weren't on that chat that she was referencing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do my gift. This is my gift from Lindsay.
This is mine. I think I can do mine perfectly. It's this.
That's great.
I forget mine.
I saved it. I loved it so much. So that was a great love letter. So I loved it.
That was nice. One of our tweeters, Erin Hicks, just tweeted us. She wants to talk about the fight scene versus the spanking scene. She said, thumbs up fight, thumbs down spanking. I have to say thumbs up, mostly both. What about you guys?
Yeah, I was really worried about how they were going to do it. I'm obviously anti-spanking, just going to throw it out there. I'm not against violence against women. Oh, nope, I'm against it. I am against.
Yeah, no, I think. I'm not going like thumbs up. Let's abuse women. Like I get it, but I even got kind of like the laughter at some part in the theater when we were seeing it. It was almost like a relief, like a tension relief kind of thing. But I thought you know, it is historical. This is what happened. This is a time period. I did a whole thing about Unhypeable and how it was a brave choice for them to go down that road, because they could have softened it any number of ways, and they chose not to. So I was happy with what they put out there, because I think you have to be able to dislike your protagonist at a certain point, and I think we traveled a really interesting road that was a difficult road, and it should make people uncomfortable, and good for them for taking the risk to trust the audience to go along on that ride and feel whatever the audience was going to feel.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. Sorry,
Oh, I was just going to say, I think Jamie was caught essentially between a rock and a hard place and had to make that choice of not disciplining her, but making sure that everyone knew that she knew what she did was a huge fuck up on her part. And so I think they couldn't have softened it or gone around it anyway besides just going there. And they did it in a funny way, but it ended up working.
And I think because you saw what Jamie went through and the measures he took to get into that room and just his perspective, I think the spanking scene then doesn't seem you're not as offended by it, because I think when reading it I was like, oh my god, like what's, you know, I was so indignant for Claire, and I think this time I was like, yes, banger. I mean, her actions almost got multiple people killed, and it's, yeah. I mean, we know why, but at the same time, her actions affect other people.
Well, I think that's something they make very clear, too, is that, and Jamie even said it, if you were a man, you would have had your ears cropped, you would have been killed, or, like, whoever did what she did, not following the directions of the leader on the road, it's like a military unit, pretty much. Whoever disobeyed orders would have been punished. She's not just punished because she's a woman, she's punished because she basically disobeyed orders, and if Jamie didn't do it, one of them would have done it. It would have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah, but it's later on. I agree with that. I think that it's one of those things where it's like a military expedition type thing. She's part of a unit that's out doing something, and she screwed up. But later on, you know, Willie essentially gets, he did something that he shouldn't have done, and they're just pushing him around. We don't get to see him get flogged or spanked. But I mean, I think that the violence has been.
There if Jamie hadn't walked in. I wonder if it just would have escalated.
But the point is, we didn't see it. I mean, and it didn't happen, and it didn't happen in the book. And I think so far we've seen Jamie get far more, but it's from a sadist. And so I think the problem is trying to parse out, like, what type of violence are we going to say is acceptable, and are we going to be okay with the fact that Jamie was, bled to the bone for something he didn't do, and not be okay with Claire getting beat on the bottom with no marks and, all of that for something she did do. I mean, she did deserve a punishment at that point, and that 18th century justice was a spanking. So.
Well, not for nothing, we nailed a kid's ear to a post a couple episodes ago.
Right.
I don't hear child abuse advocates going berserk.
Right.
So.
Right.
Great point.
I think why it was like soft. It wasn't soft for. I mean, obviously, I am not comfortable with the whole thing in that time era. But I think Heidi Rochelle just commented. This just popped up on my screen, and I totally agree with that. She said the spanking scene was humorous because her fighting back was out of anger rather than fear, and he was so uncomfortable. And I think that's what did it for me. Her fighting back, and then even just the way it happened later, and her just saying this will never happen again, and then his apology for it. Okay, you really messed up. That's not how you should have treated your wife. I mean, yes, she did something that put all these people in danger. She should have been held accountable for it. That's not the way it should have happened. But that happened, and he apologized and said, I'm never going to do it again. Take my life if I ever do. I think that, for me, it all happened in one episode. I mean, how can you really get upset about it?
Right.
And I'm sorry. Did I interrupt?
Go ahead.
And I also think, too, like you guys were saying earlier, it is the time period. We have to look at that. We're looking at a 20th century woman versus an 18th century man. The rules are different. But what I liked about it, in the book, I had a very hard time digesting that and understanding that, even when Diana explained it, the multiple times she had to explain it. But the fact that the show showed, and I was glad you mentioned that, Becca, that she was fighting back. That it wasn't just Jamie just came out with scratch marks and claw marks and bite marks. We actually got to see it, and she fought back, and I think that was essential to show that, to show him doing that, to show her pushing that. But then I think it's also essential because later on, and I'm sure we'll talk about that sex scene. Probably not. Whatever.
Yeah. Let's just gloss over it.
The fact that he says, I'm from a land in a time that's steeped in tradition, not a time, sorry, because he thinks she's from his time. And now I understand that we can't live like that. You and I cannot be like that. And I was like, that had to be done for him to get to that point. So,
although he does say something, you come from a time where you're not in danger. So you're like kind of getting those little hints that he thinks something is up.
Yeah, I noticed that too. He said something. I was like, "Whoa, wait a second."
Yeah.
For sure.
Or where you come from. I think he made have. Well, I don't know.
I think he said both. He said like where you come from, and then he also said something. I remember something specific about time. That
it's easier. A place and time.
Or a period. Yeah, a place and time.
He's putting one and one together to make two and realizing, so.
I think that's just a slip of the tongue. They didn't catch it.
I mean, the other thing too, I don't know if like people culturally get this too. I mean, there's obviously a very heavy like Catholic theme going through this whole thing, and the fact that Jamie swears and the oaths that he makes are very religious Catholic oaths, and for being somebody like Jamie, who is a very devout Catholic, like he seriously means and seriously believes, may God strike me dead. I'm going to hell if I have broken this. Like he totally believes he's damned his soul. So I think in a modern perspective, people say, oh, I swear to God all the time, and it doesn't mean anything. Not that that's right or wrong, but that's how people perceive it. Versus Jamie saying that, it's a very different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the books, he says, I don't take vows lightly, and I don't take, oaths lightly either.
Right.
So, and I wish they put that in, but I understand they can't put everything in. But, I mean, he doesn't. When he makes a promise, it's a Fraser promise. Fraser promise. Fraser promise.
Here's a quick question. Did Ron mention something about that this was filmed out of order?
Yes. It was filmed, all those Castellic scenes were filmed together. So 1 through the next one, which is 11, 1 through 4, and then 9 and 10. Yeah, 9 and 10 were filmed together because they're Castellic scenes.
So that sex scene, that amazing sex scene that we saw actually happened before the wedding?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So
it was the first sex scene they ever filmed.
So, good transition there, Jamie. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's do it, because, guys, that was the first sex scene that they did together. And, confession, I haven't rewatched it since I saw it the first time. I just didn't have time. And I know that reading Beth's post, so when Beth and I were sitting next to each other, I was spilling popcorn all over her, because I'm sorry, I'm a messy eater. I didn't know that Beth had a problem with that, but apparently she does. And we were just uncomfortable. I mean, it was just not because of sex, but because it was really intimate. And we talked about it a lot. And she said the second time she watched it, she didn't feel that discomfort. Maybe I wouldn't either. I don't think that will change for me, though, that we were watching something very intimate between people. And I do not think that's something that we see often or ever on TV or in films.
I think especially when you're talking a sex scene, we've seen scenes with women on top before. I don't think I have ever in my life seen a scene where the woman is on top and she reaches down and I'm going, and penis goes in now, and I'm going, woo! And I'm like, hello. Never watched that in a Regis office, by the way, because that's where I was watching it. Bad choice. But in any case, don't watch that in temporary offices. It's amazing the reaction you get when people walk past you. But anyway, like that, I think that's totally to your point, Becca, as to why it seems so intimate. I think we're so used to guys' POV sex scenes that when we see a woman driving in action, let's face it, something we've all done.
Yeah.
I think
we're not used to seeing that.
It was not I was uncomfortable, because you know, lots of Outlander fans in the room, and they're like, like tittering.
True.
And like wooing, and
we had just seen them 45 minutes prior, and like and talked to them really close. So that was also really.
I think I muttered some oh shits and damns.
Yeah. At one point, I know exactly what point it was because it kept going on and on. It's when he like is sliding his hand down the covers, like down her body, and I looked back and I was like, God, he needs to stop. Like,
no, I remember what it was for me is when he grabs her boob in like that man boob grab way. That's not for a woman. He is not touching her boob because that's how she wants to be touched. He's touching her. Is Blurtlander here? Now Blurtlander is going to
Reenactment.
He's going to reenact it. You know what I'm talking about? He like just is like grabbing it like this, like no, and I'm just like
it's a puppet.
Like that is the realest thing I've ever seen. That is
and
like
the camera's on Katrina's face. I mean, that's it too. I mean, I agree with you. For me too, it was watching him like go down his chest, and I'm going, and he's sucking on her nipple, and I'm looking at her face, and now he's coming back up, and just in case he missed it the first time, he's gonna go there again, and I'm like. Oh, it is. I'm just not used to seeing scenes like that, and that's why I was kind of like, you know.
I think that's the great thing about. I think that's the great thing about Outlander. When we were talking to her, Kate at Paley Fest, we had asked like, what is it like being in a character who is sexualized but in like a normal female way? I think we're seeing that on TV, and it's something that's not normally portrayed, and it's awesome, but also like, oh my God, at the same time. It's really normal looking. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a passionate scene. It was very passionate. It was a great mixture of emotions. It was the anger, it was the lust. You know, if you think about it, Claire had been holding out on Jamie for a while, and obviously, you know, he just came back from Leary and her boob grab. Jamie got 2 grabs in one day. Do you realize that?
Yeah. That's a lot of boobs.
All the boobs.
Wait, is that girl who plays Leary of age?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can say how fantastic her boobs are because I was having
fantastic
some.
boobs.
She looks a lot older in person than she does on camera. In person she looks about 25 or so, but she looks a lot younger on the set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely had some boob envy going on. Just all around.
Corset. Everybody looks like that in a corset.
Yeah. I want a corset. Well, I want to talk about Larry, but let's keep talking about sex. Does anybody else have anything else to say about sex? How about you tweeters? What do you guys think? You guys like sex?
Yeah.
Yes. Favorite positions?
I think that we promised them a leather burn story because Sam mentioned in his live tweet that he had carpet burns. Leather burns are also a thing. Leather is.
I've seen one.
Yeah.
Burns on knees, the hazards of sex scenes. Yeah.
Or just
this couch back here. It's leather. It does not feel good. I'm just gonna throw that out there. It was not fun. Still there. Be taking that scar to Europe. Outlander wants to know, when did that happen? It's last week.
We got the text afterwards, Outlander.
What are you doing?
Oh my God.
He's actually literally sitting right there.
Yeah, he's sitting right here.
He's sitting right there. I know, like, I mean, it's funny, too, because Kevin watches it with me, too, and sometimes he's like, you're not including me on this show. You're not talking about me on this show, are you?
Nope.
I don't
know your name, Kevin.
I don't have a choice. Everybody over here's got fans, and he thinks that he deserves
I saw him. He's tweeting his fans. You guys want to tweet Blurtlander, he might write you back. He's been on his Twitter today.
Oh, gosh. Quit talking to me. I have to think.
Here's a question. So speaking of sex scenes and whatnot, do you think, and so I know that we keep talking about like him sucking on her nipple and just all that, do you think that was a Sam decision or was that a director? And because like, you know, when you actually think about the filming, there's like a director that's right now, he's like, okay, now suck on her nipple, now grab her boob, you know, like somebody's like
I think I've heard some things on like how they talk about it before, and it's like a play, like I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna kiss, and then I'm gonna grab you here, and like try to be more like surgical and about it, and not so.
I mean, It is. I mean, usually they're choreographed to. I mean, I'm going to use that term because I don't know what else to call it, but I mean, it is to a sense of they only have so many counts of the camera. Like they know it's going to be a 30-second shot or a 20-second shot, and they want to kind of do it. Like even on stage when you're doing something like that, like you're literally counting. Move my arm, 2, 3, 4. Kiss left, 5, 6, 7.
Well, also the camera's in a certain spot. If he'd gone for her left boob, he would have covered up too much of her body.
Right.
So he had to go for the right boob.
The camera, depending on how
he had to know ahead of time which boob he was going for. So all of that is part of, figuring it all out.
I mean, some of it is spontaneous, but there's a definite, like, choreography to it.
Yeah.
Well, they had to know from the boob suck, because then he did. Okay, everyone talks about the boob suck. The sexiest thing that he did was the lick. Like he.
That was the sexiest and the most awkward. That was when I went.
I have a question because I can't remember. Were they underscoring that scene with music or not? I can't remember.
Yeah, there was music. There was music because I remember it sticking out.
Okay, because sometimes like when they do a scene like that, like in the movies, if they know there's going to be basically a heavy underscoring, like the director will literally be saying, "And move your head here, now go there," because they know they can just take his audio out or her audio out afterwards, and they'll like swell the score. But I seem to remember a lot of moaning, so I'm thinking maybe it was not. Like it was more memorized than constantly directed.
So our friend Heidi Rochelle, who does our awesome Bachelor recaps, she sent me this link. I'm sure half of you have seen it because you're all on Facebook 24 hours a day talking about Outlander. But apparently in Oklahoma City KFC, like last Thursday, all of a sudden this family looks up and there are nakedness and moaning on the TV in the KFC, and it is Outlander. It is that scene in the middle of a KFC on a Thursday.
Looking good.
The dad took video of it, and he can't even barely see it because he's shaking, laughing so hard. And they're there with like their 6-year-old twins. And this is what the news report said. It said, "Way spicier than the Colonel's recipe."
Precious.
Okay, I think the bigger question here is how did they get it on a Thursday when it didn't come out till Saturday?
Yeah.
I think it was an
They have premium cable. That's what I want to know.
I think it was an extended preview, 4 stars on a different channel.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
There's some good tweets here, like Heidi Rochelle. I keep talking about her. She just said, "I'm just glad this sex scene didn't have her orgasming after 3 pushes from a virgin."
Yeah.
Much better build this time. Much better build.
And Anna Doolin, who is CH00CHELO, did I get that right? She said she totally felt like a voyeur all 3 times she watched it. Way to admit to that.
Not that we're counting.
Yeah.
Decided that he didn't narrate in the middle of the sex scene. Sex was our way of getting back to each other.
His voiceover, like halfway through, I was like, "Shut up!" He was talking too much. I was like, at the beginning, great, but then in the middle, shut up.
It was fine when there was like transitions and it was like pastoral scenes. Like I was cool with that. But like when you're looking at Sam and he's going, "Well, I should have killed him then," I'm like, enough. We get it.
Yeah.
Figured it out.
Yeah. That was the one that bugged me. That was the only one of Sam's that bugged me. And I think it's because we said the same thing. Anytime that you can figure out what's going on by looking, don't tell me. I have it. I'm good. I don't need you to like let me know exactly what he's thinking. That was our same problem with the Katrina voiceovers. Like we can intuit that from the scene. You can shut up. But I thought his were really good. That was the only one that I think intruded on the scene. And we had a lot of people say that they were upset when he said that he was falling in love with Claire because we don't know that yet at this point if you're reading the books. But at the same time, this is Jamie's perspective. He knew he's in love with her.
Absolutely.
So
he hasn't said it to her though, right?
Yeah, I think he did.
He doesn't tell her until way later in the books.
Right.
But
he has not said, "I love you." He's said, like, "My brown haired lass" and things like that. But he's not said, "I love you" to her. Am I correct?
No, he hasn't.
What did he say in this one? He just said, "I'm falling for her," like in his head he said it?
One of his voiceovers was, "I would forgive her anything."
Oh, yeah.
That's what falling in love is.
Oh.
So I think that's It's perfectly fine. It's a perfectly fine voiceover for him. Of course he knows he's falling in love with her at this point. He knew a long time ago. Quit thinking everything has to be just like the book. And going to that point, let's go ahead and talk about Laoghaire. Everyone is got their panties up their butts
Rear ends.
about the entire Laoghaire problem, because not only did none of that happen in the book, but it's requiring Jamie to know more about Laoghaire's personality than he supposedly knows in the books. How do you know how much Jamie knows about Laoghaire in the books? Just because he tells Claire that never tells Claire that this scene happened doesn't mean it never happened.
Right.
It easily could have been something that happened. And guess what that's called? Fan fiction.
Oh my God, Ron Moore is writing fan fiction and Matt Roberts.
Yeah. He does tell Claire that the girl does deserve, when they come back and they have that fight in the book, he does say that whatever I do owe her, I will give to her. And what I owe her is an explanation. So I think, Matt Roberts, congratulations. You wrote great fan fiction that Diana liked.
That's right. It is perfect fan fiction. Canon fan fiction.
Yeah, and I think if you look at my tagline tonight, it says, I am Laoghaire, we all are. And if you want to argue with me, you can come and argue with me, but I'm drinking a little bit tonight, and I'm going to argue right back with you, because we are all Laoghaire. People are like, that slut, that stupid little slut. I'm like, I'm sorry. If I want a man like Jamie Fraser, I'm going to go to the edge of the water and I'm going to show him my corset. That's what I'm going to do, because it's what I have to work with. And that girl did what she needed to do to try to get the guy.
And not for nothing, but like, she's 16. How many of us at 16 did things that just makes our older selves cringe at the thought of what we did at 16? So
Exactly. And spoiler, so it literally, if you don't know what happens in the books from here on out, hold your ears until I start going like this, okay? The next couple things that happen that are as a result.
Wait, say what you just did it.
I know, I was giving an example. The next thing, sorry, we're still in spoiler mode. The next couple things that happen that are a result of what she did, she is 16 years old. I'm not saying she should have done them, but I do not think, and I think later we find out that she did not intend for the results to happen as they happened. We are all Laoghaire.
Yeah. And I think that they're making her a little bit more culpable.
right.
But,
Yeah.
Well, that was a huge canon change, though. The fact that when they found the ill wish under the bed, Jamie explains to her kind of what it is. He says it's a joke and it's a poor one, but he doesn't fully explain what an ill wish is to the nth degree, nor does he say, I think Laoghaire did it. That was a big canon change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I also think, but going back to what Laoghaire did, I mean, if you look at it like before Jamie left, before they went to collect the rents and however many months they were gone, he was making out with her. He took a beating for her, a couple times. So up until that point, she's thinking that there's something going on between them. And then he comes back married, and she's thinking like that they still have this connection, and he's just too naive to kind of squash it right away. I think he's just like too nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like she got that idea out of nowhere. I mean, she had an absolute cause to get
He let her on.
And he doesn't help it by like going, oh, by the way, it's an arranged marriage, and gotta go talk to the Mackenzies. See you later. I mean,
yeah, he's trying to be noble and not like give her, I don't think that he, as a dude, wasn't totally aware of her interest or whatever, but he should have been. Dudes should be. But I think that he let her on, and what they had done together was pretty much, it's kind of binding. I mean, it would have been like your long-term boyfriend coming back from summer camp and having a girlfriend to somebody else. It would have been a total bummer. And I get it. I get why she did that. And I got kind of irritated listening to some people slut shame her for a little while about how, of course she wasn't a virgin. She's just telling him that. Well, who cares? A, if she wasn't, who cares? That's her business. And B, if she was, it shouldn't matter. She shouldn't be given up virginity like it's something that matters. Virginity is a state of non-being. It doesn't exist. It is a strong patriarchy. And I was thinking of everybody slut shaming Laoghaire.
I agree. And also, but here's something that was so obvious. Just such why also I'm not sure he took her seriously is here's this girl who's beautiful. I'm echoing. I don't know why. Here's a beautiful girl who looks 16. She's a beautiful body, but she looks 16. And all I was thinking is, as he was looking at her, is in his head, he's just imagining this woman that he has. And it's just, I think for him, it's just like, she was just playing a game. And okay, there's this little girl that I can't really just be that strong. You know, I don't want to hurt her. Here's this little girl. Like, there was such a difference when you look at Katrina and you look at Leary.
You know,
we're all Leary.
There's a line in one of the books, and I don't remember which one it is right now, but I'd swear Murda says it, but maybe I'm wrong. And there's something along the lines of Jamie needs a woman, not a girl. And there were some people who are going to be a girl when they're 50, and Leary's going to be a girl when she's 50, and Claire is a woman. And I think that's very true. And it was funny because my husband was saying, he goes, that's why he finds Outlander compelling drama, is because the women are intelligent women by and large. They're not just girls.
Also, you know, going to the whole back to blaming Leary and slut shaming her, we do have there. I'm not trying to call out anybody particular, but there are people who look at Jamie as being this Christ-like figure, that he's perfect, the perfect man, he can do no wrong, so it's all her fault. Where are we going back to? No, he led her on. He was imperfect in that part. And going back to, you know, a few weeks ago, Amy and her rekilting, where she looked at Voyager and the whole hoopla with that. The fact that she called out Jamie for something that happened in Voyager. We had fans. No, he didn't do that. No, I'm gonna say it. He did.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, go to I don't know, That's Normal, and search rekilting. Really important post. There's a lot of heated comments on there about a very did he not thing that Jamie did.
You know what? He's not a perfect character, and that's why I like him. He's not perfect. He did, I'm going to agree with everyone, he did lead her on in that sense, and she's 16, and if I was 16 and a very beautiful man made out with me, took a beating for me, you damn right I'm going to be like, here's my corset.
Yeah.
I mean, because every other guy we've seen has, like, Waffle House waitress teeth. I mean, you can't even get past, like, you can't even look them in the face. Sorry, Waffle House waitresses, y'all are all beautiful, but
Teeth are terrible.
In the show, they have issues physically, and he doesn't, and so I mean, of course she's going to be attached to the only attractive Highlander she knows, who also made out with her, who also saved her from a beating, who also doesn't look very happy with his wife right now. I mean, this is ridiculous for people to be upset with Leary, and it's ridiculous for people to be upset with Jamie too. You know, she put her boobs in front of him and put his hand on her boob. How is he? It's perfectly fine for him to be tested and tempted in that situation.
You know what, though? I think you can be upset with them. It's when you can't get past it. Like, I like that you can get upset, that you can get irritated, that you can be annoyed at them. It's just like if you get stuck there. That's like, you know, I mean, how many times do your kids disappoint you in an action they take? I mean, you don't not forgive them ever, you know, so.
And someone said on Danielle Schwartz, I see your faces every day, and I can't even say your Twitter names. I'm sorry, people. Danielle Schwartian says, I hope my kids never know the dumb things I did at 16. I'm glad they're making her more understandable. I think that was great.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're fictional characters. Why are we getting all up in arms about it?
That is a very good point, Nikki.
I mean, the amount of things that Jamie or that any of the characters in this series are going to do that are misogynistic or sexist or questionable morally or all those kinds of things, it doesn't even remotely compare to Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad or even sometimes The Walking Dead in terms of misogyny or in terms of sexism or in terms of violence. And, well, violence maybe. But, I mean, we're just not – somebody's echoing. Is it me? We're just not on the same playing field as some of that other stuff, and yet we're still, you know, debating whether or not we should be okay with it. And I think we should be, because it's an honest portrayal of how things are. It's problematic, sure. It's problematic for a man to beat his wife and for a man to be tempted by a 16-year-old girl. Those things are problematic, but they're not deal breakers.
And also, but at the time, it's not a big deal for, like, what Jamie's supposed to be 23 and she's 16. Like, those types of pairings happened all the time then. So that wasn't, like, that's, you know, not, you know, today was like, oh my God, he's taking advantage of her. But that wasn't the deal then.
Yeah. So final thoughts on this episode. We've got to wrap it up, unfortunately. So normally we do final thoughts, and then we do a little Well, we don't do final thoughts. We're supposed to do a one sentence, what you think of this episode, but we didn't do that. So let's do a GIF moment, what your favorite GIF moment is of this episode, and then we'll announce what our giveaway is going to be.
Oh, yeah. I'm going first. Okay, my favorite giveable moment, I already mentioned it tonight, is Jamie clawing her boob like an inexperienced 11-year-old boy.
It's a good one.
Nikki.
My giftable moment, we didn't get to talk about it, but when Jamie busts into Blackjack, his lair, when he yelled, "Do it!" That was like the funniest thing ever. I laughed really hard. So I just want a gif of him going, "Do it!"
Oh, I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was fabulous.
It was funny and really weird.
It scared me, actually, a little bit.
Yeah, I was creeped out by him. I was glad Jamie was hot and awesome again.
Yeah.
Laura?
What's your GIF moment?
My very non-PG-13 gifable moment is Claire making the adjustment. I don't know. That would be it for me. Very, very, very rated R right there. It's a great look on her face, too. It's like, there is no doubt what we're doing right now.
Julie?
I have two. I'll have a rated R one and a G rated one. So the rated R one is the lick. It's the lick. I have to. It's the lick. It's just you see Sam Hewen's pink tongue just going straight up. And they're in the room right now. Aunt of the Year. And then the G one, which I think could be. Sorry, I'm now thinking of the sex, and then I said G. G1, which could be used for any moment known to man. Like you have a Mazel Tov or Happy Birthday or whatever. Is Misfits going? Yay! Like that.
Perfect.
She's so happy.
She is. Cheerleader.
James?
So I would say the Claire chin, but that GIF exists. So I will say Claire brushing her curly hair just because that annoyed the piss out of me.
She shouldn't brush it!
I was like, who brushes curly hair?
Yeah, everybody knows that.
My GIF moment is, I talked about it in my post, but I think it's just a great GIF to use when you need to just kind of throw a little shade, is Claire getting in bed going, think again. That's what I need. I need a little think again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what, just a shout out, because we didn't really talk about him too much because he wasn't in the episode too much, but Tobias Menzies I loved, and the look on his face when the gun doesn't fire. He's got the best WTF look on his face ever when the gun does not fire.
It's very true. Very true. And if you guys want a little bit more NYC gossip, Tobias Menzies, a little bit disheveled with his tie undone, is the best version of Tobias Menzies I've ever seen in person. Just so you know.
All right, let's link. Gosh, I can't talk, guys. Somebody said Becca doesn't have Riesling in her cup. She can't get that drunk on Riesling. Number one, I don't drink white wine. Number two, I had 2 margaritas earlier. So thank you to whoever tweeted me that. Reaching into my bag to
That's not a euphemism, believe it or not, for this show.
Yes, I am reaching into my Outlander bag to find out. We have a bunch of different things. We'll give different stuff away every week. And this week we have an Outlander flask. So give it away. Nikki, who is our winner for this week of the Outlander flask?
Meg Sprunt is our winner.
Yay!
Using Hangoutlander. We'll send you this. Email us.
Email us, Meg. We probably have your email from comments, but if not, shoot us an email or DM us when we follow you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All my curly hairs are talking to me about how ridiculous it was. I feel you people. I'm very excited about that.
All your curly hairs are talking to
Big.
you.
Oh, no, people on Twitter are talking about it.
I did promise that I was going to say we've had some requests that Hangoutlander would be turned into a podcast so that people didn't have to watch or maybe could listen to it on a commute. And I have promised that this is going to be a mission of mine this week. It has been a goal of mine for a while, and I've been looking into how to do that. It's not as easy for the technically challenged. But there will be a podcast of our That's Normal, and specifically right now, Hangoutlander coming very soon. So we will be letting you know. We'll let you know via Hypeable on Twitter, Laura's Twitter, and That's Normal through our website and Twitter. Exciting!
Guys.
If anybody knows how to make a podcast flip, just send me a quick email.
If anybody knows how that works. All right, that's it for this Hangoutlander. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week for whatever the name of next week's episode is.
Number 110.
By the breaking of my thumbs. Yes. Got it.
Bye.
Bye.